Welcome to your channel, where words come alive with the magic of storytelling and open minds to new worlds. Here, we weave tales from the fabric of imagination and reality, allowing you to experience adventures that captivate the soul and awaken the imagination. Get ready to dive into a sea of captivating narratives, where every story begins with a new beat that takes you beyond the limits of possibility. Let's get started.
Run.
We have killed ourselves. There was no Ottoman attack.
In 1788, during the reign of Ottoman Sultan Abdul Hamid I, one of the strangest and most foolish battles in history erupted, known as the Battle of Karansebes, or the Battle of Sebech. This confrontation was between the army of the Ottoman Caliphate and the Austrian army. However, it was not a typical battle as some might imagine, but rather a scene of chaos that led to the Austrian army's defeat in a way no one could have anticipated. The events began when the Austrian army sent a group of scouts to locate the Ottoman army and survey the area. This group, made up of professional soldiers, was supposed to be vigilant and cautious in their mission. However, things did not go as planned. While advancing through the vast lands surrounding the Ottoman positions, they came across a gathering of gypsies selling alcohol in one of the mountain passes. Instead of continuing their mission with caution, the scouts decided to stop and enjoy some rest. They sat with the gypsies and began drinking heavily, becoming completely intoxicated. They were utterly oblivious to the dangers around them or even their primary mission. The atmosphere was filled with laughter and noise, as if they were at a celebration, rather than on the brink of a battle that could determine their fate.
What? Alcohol. I think tonight might get interesting.
Is this really a good idea? We're on a scouting mission.
The scouting can wait. Let's have some fun.
Things are way too quiet. Where are the Ottomans?
Oh, don't worry. Maybe they're sitting somewhere, drinking like we are.
Shortly after, another group of Austrian infantry came along, intending to join the scouts. It seemed they were aware of the location, and perhaps sought a chance to relax as well. However, things didn't go as smoothly as they expected. When they tried to join the drunken scouts, they were met with resistance. The scouts, now heavily intoxicated and no longer thinking clearly, took a defensive stance against the infantry, as if they were engaged in a small battle among themselves. The situation escalated quickly when one of the scouts fired a shot. The sound of the gunfire echoed through the area, causing panic among the soldiers. The infantry group began shouting that the Ottoman army had attacked them, believing that the shot was a signal for the onset of the assault. Meanwhile, the drunken scouts thought they were indeed being surrounded by the Ottoman army from behind. To them, it seemed as if the Ottomans were closing in rapidly. In a state of hysteria, they fled towards the front battalions of the Austrian army.
It's the Ottomans. They've attacked us.
Oh my God, they're behind us! Run!
What's happening? Why are they running like that?
It looks like they're under attack.
Have the Ottomans gotten closer? Prepare yourselves. Everyone to your positions.
The situation was no less tense among those front battalions. When they saw the scouts fleeing in a hysterical manner, they believed that the Ottomans had launched a surprise attack against them. Chaos ensued, and they had no way of verifying what was actually happening. As a result, those battalions began to flee toward the main camp of the Austrian army, carrying with them even more disorder and panic. Things were getting worse with each passing moment. The Austrian army was made up of soldiers speaking multiple languages, from German to Serbian and Croatian, each shouting in their own language to warn of the alleged Ottoman attack. Amidst this linguistic diversity and chaos, no one could understand one another, which heightened the panic even further.
What's going on? Is this an Ottoman attack?
I don't understand what they're saying, but it looks like there's an attack.
Open fire! Protect the camp!
When the terrified soldiers reached the main camp, those already present began to believe that the Ottoman army had indeed breached their ranks. Instead of verifying what was happening, they opened fire on their comrades. Confusion reigned, and each soldier thought that those next to them were the enemy. The camp turned into a battlefield, with soldiers randomly killing one another, unaware that they were fighting their own allies. As gunfire erupted from all sides and cries of panic echoed throughout, complete chaos ensued. There was no clear leadership to direct the army, and no plan for retreat or reorganization. The battle, in which there was no presence of the Ottomans, became the greatest defeat for the Austrians in that war. By the end of the night, the Austrian army had completely defeated itself. More than 10,000 soldiers had fallen, while those who remained fled the battlefield, believing that the Ottomans had achieved a decisive victory over them. Yet the truth was even more ironic. There had been no Ottoman attack at all. 2 days after this chaotic scene, the Ottoman army, led by Sultan Abdul Hamid I and Grand Vizier Koza Yusuf Pasha, arrived at the battlefield. When they reached the site, they were taken aback by an unexpected sight. Austrian corpses were scattered everywhere, with no sign of resistance. The Sultan and his companions stood in shock and disbelief. They could hardly believe that the Austrian army had defeated itself in such a bizarre manner. Instead of engaging in a fierce battle as they had anticipated, the Ottoman army found themselves facing a free victory. They captured a large number of Austrian soldiers who were still in shock from the chaos that had unfolded. There was no real fighting between the armies, yet the outcome was a resounding victory for the Ottomans, without them having to engage in any battle.
What is this? 10,000 dead? And we haven't fired a single shot.
They defeated themselves.
What a strange battle. A victory without a fight.
And so our tale comes to an end, where reality and fantasy merge into a single canvas, leaving an indelible mark on our souls. We'll meet again in the next story, where the possible blends with the impossible and new worlds are shaped within the folds of words. Until then, goodbye.